Hi friends, today I'm carrying on with my using up my fabric scraps themes. I'm going to make alternatives to cling film. Now I've said I was going to do this for some time. I finally got around to doing it, and I've got beeswax pieces and also a beeswax candle making kit. So it's got all the layers of beeswax. And so what you do is very simple. You need to get some kind of thin fabric, and I've looked in my fabric scrap and I've picked up quite a few nice pieces, and this is from an old shirt, and I've repurposed that on one of my aprons in one of my older videos. So have a look at that video if you want to make an apron. So I've cut the sleeve part of it out. I've got a front yoke of the same fabric, and the fabric, I think you should really go with something like a poly cotton. So you want a cotton really, but you want a thin fabric because you're going to put all the beeswax in it, on it, and it'll soak through, and then it'll sort of, you'll be able to manipulate it. So I'd go for a thinner fabric, and this one here I believe is probably quite a thickish poly cotton, and I'm going to use these and we'll see how they come out. And then what I'm going to do is use them over plates or to wrap sandwiches up if I'm going on a picnic, and see how useful they are, because I don't want to be buying any more cling film if I can help it. So I thought I'd bring you along and let's see how it is. So using your fabric scraps, if you've got anything about, or you're throwing out an old shirt or anything, just chop it up. And these, I think that was about £6 or £7, but there's so many sheets in this, this will go a long way. It's a candle making kit, and it's a jumbo pack, makes up to 12 candles. But this one, I got 4 in the box, and I got this in a charity shop for £2. So I reckon from a supplier, those 3 pieces of beeswax will probably be about £1 each, if you can find a supplier. So just have a little look if you've got a local honey supplier, ask them if they've got some and they sell them, or a farmer's market sell them as well, or online of course, but try and support local if you can. So let's see what we need. You also need greaseproof paper. So I've got lots of greaseproof paper sheets, and what you do with that is you put your greaseproof paper underneath the fabric and over the fabric, and that will become the barrier so that you can then iron the fabric safely, and it won't stick to your iron because you're going to cover it up. So I'll show you. We'll put that on the table, we'll put the piece of fabric on the top, and then we will grate the beeswax over the fabric. We'll put another sheet of greaseproof on the top, so we're like sandwiching it all together, and then we will iron the top on sort of a low heat until it's all melted. And then in time, after probably a year or so, you'll find that it needs redoing again, and you do the same principle. You know, if it looks tired, just grab a wax block and rub it all over the wrap with your firm pressure, and then iron it. And I've got some instructions here actually for that, and it says if the wrap has lost most of its wax, then it may require a more substantial refresh. Lightly grate the wax, ensuring the shavings cover all the areas of the wrap. When sufficiently covered, place the wrap in between the 2 pieces of baking parchment, and on the coolest non-steam setting, run the iron over with light pressure in a quick motion, repeating until the wax is dispersed and absorbed into the material. Remove the parchment or greaseproof paper while still hot and whack for a few seconds to completely set. So that's a process to refresh, but also to make. So let's get making it and see how it is, and I hope it inspires you to do the same. I'm Victoria Makes, and I do all sorts of upcycling, baking and making on this channel. If you've not subscribed, I'd really appreciate it if you do, and also like. Please comment on as well. Feel free to comment and let me know what you make and how you use it up, your fabric scraps, how you upcycle, how you recycle, etc. I'd love to join in and learn more from yourselves. So let's get on to this project. Right, so let's put our greaseproof paper down. I think what I will do first is have a little look at the piece of fabric, and what I need to do is cut the fabric to the size that I require. And what I'm going to do is just make it as large as possible, trimming it like a big rectangle size for this one, and that would be ideal to wrap a sandwich up, wouldn't it? So I've cut this one out to a nice large rectangle, and I'm going to make sure it is in the middle of the greaseproof paper. And I've also done the floral one. That's a bit larger, but it still fits very nicely on the greaseproof paper. So I'll put that one to the side. What I'm going to do now is, with the grater, I'm going to grate these over on top of the piece of material. Right, so we've got this and we've got our grater. And just try and do it evenly. And this is a natural product, beeswax, so hopefully a bit more sustainable than using the plastic cling films in the future. If I enjoy using this, I feel I can get everybody to do it in the family, I'll make a lot more. It's ideal to use your fabric scraps. So I'll show you what I've already used up. So there's not a lot left, is there, on that? Only a tiny bit really. But what we can do is we can add more if it needs it. So I'm just going to pick all the little bits up from around the edges and make sure they're all on the fabric. So I don't want to waste the pieces, obviously. Right, we need that second greaseproof paper on the top now, and that provides a barrier so it doesn't stick onto everything. And then it's on the coolest setting, so let's just check that it is. Right then, so let's get this cool iron and try and hold it careful and melt the beeswax. It said just do it quite quickly, and you can see it melting. It becomes quite translucent, which is good, so we can see if it's actually melted. What I'm trying to do is manipulate all the beeswax to the very edge as well, so that there isn't any fabric without the beeswax on. And that's good because you can see it as it melts, and then you can see it moving with it becoming liquid, and where it's actually covering and where it's not. So you can manipulate it with the iron and just generally melt it and bring it to the edge of the fabric, which is very important because you don't want bits that haven't got any on either. So can you see you're now getting red, and where it's not red, it's because that's not melted. So you're manipulating it, and then you're getting it so you can see where it's melted. I'm bringing it right to that very edge. This is coming on nicely. Now there's a bit on this section where there isn't enough. I'm not able to get it to the point where I need it to be. So I'm going to lift this carefully back and then just literally, quickly grate some more in that area. And it's this wax that's melting that's going to be the bit that helps it crease and stay in place on your plate or mug or whatever you're going to use it for. Right then, so we have melted all this. That is what it looks like. Okay, and ironed it all out on. And then what you can do now is pull it off, and you can see that there's a little gap there, so that's not good. So this is where you just need to think, right, I'm just going to just nip into the areas that are not translucent and just quickly put a little spot or two more on that area. And quickly go over it again with your iron. So anything that looks like it's not melted on, put a little bit more on. when it's cool, it will solidify on the fabric nicely, and you'll be able to manipulate it around a bowl or sandwiches, you know, that sort of thing. And it's nice and sort of crusty and crispy. Oh yeah, it's lovely. It's nice, and then it will be able to be manipulated. So just cool it down. And there's a few little bits of beeswax on the edges. I'll just pull those off. And it feels very waxy as well. So that's lovely. I'm going to just hang that up to cool off and dry, and it will harden then. Then I'm going to get on with doing this one, because I want to make two. I might make a few more, but I just want to do two with you today to give you that idea so that you can get on with doing it and be inspired yourselves. Alright then, so I've done the second one, and we'll just pull that off to reveal this one. And it's gone sort of very the white's gone all yellowy now with the beeswax, so we just need to sort of cool that down. I'm going to just pin this one up as well. So I used 3 of these for 2 quite large sheets, and they were large rectangular sheets, you know, just sort of smaller than this, so a lot bigger than A4 size. So I will base your purchase of these little beeswax pieces on that. I think four would do, probably 2 large ones and a smaller piece. So I'm going to cut this up now and just do the smaller piece with the remaining one, and that'll be probably for a little bowl. That could probably cover a little bowl. Right then friends, so we've done both of them, and this one's come out really nice, and this one's come out nice. I'm doing another one as well. When it's dried, you just can manipulate it like that and it stays in place. So you're able to put it over your bowls, and then you just take it off and straighten off again. And again, this one's the same. So I'm going to pull this off, like that, and then you just scrunch it together, and then it, you know, wherever you want it, you can pop it over a bowl, and it, you know, it'll scrunch and it'll hold in place. So they're really good, you know, I'd really recommend doing them, and they're a perfect way to use up your fabric scraps and cover all your food in containers. Let me get your container and show you what I mean. So let's say I've got some food leftovers, pop it in a Pyrex, popping that over and literally scrunching it down like so, and just like you would with cling film, it keeps it airtight and fresh. And then when you're finished and it sticks on it, it doesn't fall off. When you finish, you just pull it off, straighten it off again, and it's there. And in the cupboard, you can just literally fold them up and put them in a bag until you need them. And they're really good. So I'm going to make some more, 'cause I'm really pleased with that. I've used a few more than fabrics pieces, and I think it's come out well. I hope it's inspired you to do the same. And yeah, I'll be using these in future. I'm going to make some really big ones and some small ones, and I'm going to use the beeswax candle kit as well for lots of them. So I've got a whole host of sizes and designs, and I think it's been a success. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe if you haven't done, and I'll see you again soon with another idea of how to use your fabric scraps, or it might be another make or a bake, but join me for another video. Thanks for watching, and thanks for being here. Leave any comments in the comment box, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.